You're welcome. Now, management of Precious Minerals Marketing Company, PMMC, and workers have pledged to settle their differences after they blamed communication gaps for frosty relationship leading to a recent strike by the workers. The workers who embarked on a demonstration Thursday called on President Akufo-Addo to remove the chief executive officer of the company, Dr. Opare Hammond, citing his bad human relations, misappropriation of company funds, among others. They also petitioned the Ghana Mine Workers Unions on the matter. Well, after a meeting between the management of the company and the Ghana Mine Workers Union on Friday, the two resolved to work on their differences, and they have issued a statement, a copy which I have, and so I'll be reading this. We'll be speaking to the Ghana Mine Workers Union on the back as well. So here are extracts of the statement, and we'll shortly be speaking to the General Secretary of the Ghana Mine Workers Union. It says, following a petition received from workers of the PMMC on Thursday, October 4, the Ghana Mine Workers Union and the PMMC entered into an immediate discussion on the petition on Thursday and on Friday, October 5th. And notes the following. 1. That some of the concerns raised by the workers in relation to policy infractions such as recruitment and promotions are matters which were already receiving attention by the board. 2. That for some of the concerns that had been dealt with but which were not in the domain of the workers were being appropriately clarified. 3. That there are communication gaps between management and workers which largely contributed to the unfortunate impasse. Consequently, the parties have agreed as follows: that calm be restored with immediate effect and all workers are to return to their post, among others. We are joined on the line by General Secretary of the Mine Workers Union, Prince Accra. Good evening and welcome. Many thanks for your time, sir.
Yeah, good evening, and how are you?
I'm very well. Thanks for asking. So, there's been a resolution. Workers and management have agreed to settle their differences. What did management say to you in response to the concerns the workers had raised about the chief executive's poor human relations and misappropriation, alleged misappropriation of funds, among others?
Yeah, I'm sure you steal from the first bullet point of the
communique, yes.
You know, that issues have already reached the board. For that matter, the board is seriously looking into that. Virtually, the idea is that, you know, some of the very thorny issues, the board had a wind of it. And, you know, that among other issues are being looked into. So it's clear that the board will have to speed up the process with a view to informing us in the shortest possible time in respect of some of the very thorny issues that came up. This communique just to make sure that we clear the enabling environment, you know, for employees to return to work and really take the board to task to deliver on its mandate of overseeing the role of management within the undertaking. So we sure that the right thing will be done, and we'll be monitoring it with very strong eyes.
So have the employees or the workers, have they committed to return to work on Monday?
Well, after the time that I left the premises this evening, obviously they were at work, and for that matter, Monday they report to work as they've done as usual.
So tell us about what has led to this point at which the workers decided to embark on demonstration, because they said that they had raised these issues with management, but they were not receiving any responses from the management. From the communique that was released later this evening, we are told that it was due to communication gaps. Explain that to us.
Yeah, I think it became very conspicuous that there were gaps in the communication between the employees and management. You know, that was what we all witnessed, and we'll further well. That has to be deepened, you know, and for that matter, it should be deepened against the backdrop that, you know, employees will have the necessary information so that we can really prevent any incident of this nature in the ensuing period. You know, so virtually it came up, and since that came up, it was only fair that, you know, we devised a means of dealing with that. And you do realize that that really allows for us to also deepen the trend of events in the company. Most organizations in Ghana precisely hadn't signed on to the Whistleblowing Act, which creates channels of communication on a more or less, a manner that your identity is not that hidden, when you can really make sure that things that goes on wrong are really put out there. So we'll try to deepen the communication and also allow employees to have an open premise of making sure that any infraction that goes in there are actually heard, but in a more undisclosed manner, So we felt that, well, these are the new flavors in the workplace. If you want to ensure that the right thing is being done, then you hold some of the corporates accountable to really ensure that things that affect the business is really put in check. That's the only way that we can really ensure that monies are spent prudently, and also there's any unnecessary managerial prerogative that fit to set the business sort of pace.
Okay, and finally, Mr. Ankra, in deciding to embark on this demonstration, the workers, we understand, contravened the grievance procedures. Will they be penalized for this?
Well, we made it very clear that, look, to the extent that, so we signed two documents. One was the MOU, that also is there conspicuously. That has a point clearly that, well, whatever happened was a question of misunderstanding, and even when it's been taken that it contravened the laid down grievance procedure, we do not want anybody to become a victim of circumstance. So we'll take it that nothing happened, and we'll open a new chapter and make sure that we'll work together to really change the underlying corporate culture of the organization, where the MD is accused of some sort of macho management style, which in our view is something that he has to really do and work on. So for now, no employee will be taking the tax for having embarked on any action of that nature.
Very well. We'll leave it here. Many thanks for your time. And that was Prince Ankra. He is a General Secretary.
To you, yeah.
General Secretary of the Ghana Mine Workers Union. Away from this, Chief Justice and Chairperson of the General Legal Council, Justice Sophia Ekufu, has warned newly enrolled lawyers the council will not hesitate to sanction persons who engage in professional misconduct. The General Legal Council has in times past been called into action to deal with lawyers accused of overcharging their clients, among other ethical infractions. Addressing a ceremony to enroll the 2018 batch, the Chief Justice called on the new lawyers to aspire to become ethical professionals like the late eminent statesman, Justice V.C. R.A.C. Crab. There's more in the following report.
Ceremony, which is officially referred to as a session of the General Legal Council, brought together leaders of the bar and bench. 279 persons were to be called to the bar by the council. Clad in their wig and gown, they waited patiently as they were called one after the other to receive their certificates. The Chief Justice Sophia Ekufu first explained the nature of the legal profession.
Backed by the full weight and authority of the General Legal Council, to induct you, the newly and duly qualified persons, into the noble profession. There's no other profession that can call itself that. The practice of the law is not a noble profession, it is the noble profession.
She urged them to aspire to be like the late eminent statesman, Justice V.C. R.A.C. Crab.
For his tactical mediation of a constitutional crisis and conflict between the Prime Minister and Milton Obote and President Kabaka Mutesa II. But for all these interventions by Justice Crab, then known as Mr. Charles Crab, Uganda would have been plunged into civil strife soon after its independence. This is the impact each and every one of you can potentially have on your nation and on other nations.
The CJ warned professional misconduct will not be tolerated.
And I emphasize that the General Legal Council will not spare any lawyer who commits professional misconduct.
Some of the new lawyers spoke to Joy News.
It's a mixed emotion, sadness, stress, happiness. I'm ecstatic, but then the most important thing is the battle is over, and hopefully from Monday we can start practicing, and that's where the real work begins.
Well, my expectations are that, we move the frontiers of legal profession in this country beyond the normal litigation that we know. We should be venturing into other areas, more specifically the environment. That is my expectation going into the future.
The Ghana School of Law has meanwhile announced the professional program that used to be about 1.5 years will now be 2 years.
You're still watching Joy News Prime with me, Araba Kumson. Still to come, gold dealership Mensgold temporarily shuts down offices across the country, sparking rumors the company is folding. Well, the temporary closure comes amidst reports the company's director of communications has resigned after just 2 months in the role. We'll be speaking with the Deputy Director of Communications. You're welcome back. Now, gold dealership company Mensgold has dismissed reports that it has shut down. This was after customers of the company who were due to receive dividends went to the company's branches only to see notices that its offices will remain closed until further notice. The notice coincided with reports that the company's Director of Communications, George Quay, had resigned. Well, Deputy Communications Director Niama Matavio tells Joy News the closure is temporary until the safety of the workers can be guaranteed, explaining there have been attacks on some staff by aggrieved clients. He told me a while ago the company reached an agreement with representatives of the customers to reschedule the payments.
Now, we started payments on that very day, 28th. We paid few. And then we jump on to Monday, we paid few as well. Then in the evening, we met the leadership of the customers group. And they came and told us that, per the schedule that we've come up with, there is creating convenience for most of our members. Because the point is that some people will come in, although they don't fit into the schedule. That is creating a lot of delays and overcrowding. So we thought it was that, well, if the customers have spoken, we should listen to them. So we took a decision to review the schedule. So we reviewed the schedule on Tuesday. And that very Tuesday, we sent out text message informing them that we've reviewed the schedule. And then what they're going to follow is I'm going to send them individual text message who are qualified or who are expected to come to our premises to be paid their dividend or their extra value.
The text message you sent to them indicate the time that they were supposed to come for their dividends?
The Tuesday text message did not specifically mention when they should come because, as I said, we're going to send them a list of people who are supposed to be paid dividend on a particular day. So the IT guys are going to go into the database to pull out those names, see the one that we've paid already and those that have not paid, and then send those names out. This is what they told. It was a work that we're going to embark on. And when we are done, then we'll send those messages. But the customers were there on Wednesday, so I addressed them. And then I told them that Friday we will resume payment. So that was it. So yesterday we were in a meeting, how we're going to put things together so that tomorrow, or that is today. Then around 10 o'clock, then we started getting messages from all our branches that some of our staff have been attacked by, let me say, alleged customers from Mensgold, especially in Kaswa. 2 people were attacked.
When you say attack, what's the nature of the attack?
Physically, because as the customers have stood with us for all this time that we've been through. But then again, most of them when they come, most of them don't receive their payment, they don't receive their extra value. So increasingly, they are getting agitated. Do you get it? And some of them also complain bitterly that anytime they go to the various branches or they call their CRS, they don't pick up.
Why are the CRS not picking up?
Well, this is the report that we've received from our customers, and really it's something that we're working on to understand why the CROs are not picking up their calls. It could be that the calls comes in, but the volumes of calls that come at this time, maybe they are not able to manage all the calls. Yes, and so we are yet to meet with them because, of course, we are in a situation. So we solve one thing at a time. So God willing, tomorrow we will meet with all the CROs and then to really find a solution to this problem. Because it's not fair that someone that you've led to transact a business, and now problem has arisen, and we are calling the person is not picking up. I mean, it's quite some way. So we'll work on that. So when we got that information, we then had a meeting with our security team, and then they told us that it's not security-wise for us to open tomorrow because they also pick intel that some of them have planned to come with machete, some have come to plan to come with acid and all manner of stuff.
So it was a decision to protect
It was a decision to protect our staff, because the point is that we need the staff alive to serve all our customers.
Well, very well.
So if they are afraid and they are panicked that they can't serve our customers, then obviously it's just okay. It's just prudent that we suspend a transaction today and then find a lasting solution to this challenge or this problem.
But just before you go on, 28th was the last day you paid dividends to your customers.
It was not 28th. It was 1st of October.
1st of October.
Exactly.
How many customers did you pay dividends to?
Across the branches, I cannot give you the exact
Can you
figure,
give us an estimate?
But in Jowulu, I can say we paid over roughly 40 to 50 customers.
40 to 50 customers.
I mean in Jowulu, but I'm yet to pick
out
the
of
one.
how many? Hundreds?
Well, I cannot say.
Can you put a figure to how many customers Mensgold has?
Readily, I can't, but I can easily check. I can easily get that information.
Can you give us an estimate?
I don't want to speculate. So
10,000?
I don't know.
Or more?
I can't tell.
I guess the question on the minds of the customers is, how soon will my dividends be paid?
Good. Well, good. That's a good question. As I said, the bottom line now is, when am I going to be paid? That's the bottom line.
So can you answer that question?
That's what we are. The point is that we can't pay everybody at a go. And I keep saying that at every point of any financial institutions, they go through turbulence, they go through financial challenges. Even today, if World Bank will go through any financial challenge, they can't pay everybody at the same time.
So that's why you can't pay everybody at the same time.
That's why.
You're going through turbulence.
Of course, that's what I'm saying, that every financial institution goes through. Mensgold is not an exception.
What's the nature of this turbulence you're going through?
Well, you know, I don't know whether you've seen the 7th September letter.
Are you talking about your back and forth, your rift with the SEC and the Bank of Ghana?
Of course.
Is that the turbulence you're referring to?
It's a huge challenge for us.
How is it a challenge? Why is it a challenge?
I mean, since until the 7th of September that SEC wrote the letter to us that we halted operations on the 13th. Ask any of our customers whether we have defaulted payment. We've never done before. For good 4 years, consistently, we paid extra value.
What we hear is that you defaulted in September and you have not paid people in September.
September?
Yes.
See, when did this
You were supposed to pay them in September 5th.
No, I'm saying that. That's what I'm saying, that this whole issue started on 27th when the bank started playing games with us. Then the SEC letter came on the 7th. Then on the 12th, then on the 13th, we halted operations. So if from September 7th, after today, as I speak to you, we haven't traded.
So
we haven't
on the 5th,
done anything.
You didn't pay until the 5th.
No, you see, you're getting it wrong. The 5th of August,
that
you are saying that we haven't paid our customers. These are backlogs that we are clearing. When we start with the schedule, what we did was that we look at the system.
Okay.
And we
let me ask you a question. When did the backlog start?
You see, we have backlogs all the way to January. Do you know why?
No.
Because sometimes the customer's extra value is due, but they don't come for it. But when they are ready to come for it, you have to pay them because they earn it and they deserve it. It's their extra value. So as I speak to now, if you go into our system, in January, you will see that we've paid some people and some people have not been paid.
But this problem started way before SEC and the Bank of Ghana intervened.
It's not a problem that has to do with liquid. It's a problem that has to do with our customers who did not come for their extra value. But because the reason why they are coming in droves at this time is because of the panic in the system. It's natural that when you hear that SEC said they should close down, this person is, and there's a whole hula baloo and there's confusion in the public domain. as human being as you are, naturally, you say, hey, Mr. Kawaho, Mami Koji. Meanwhile, if we don't have those issues, naturally, they won't go for it. So it is normal. And we are saying that, no problem, if you're coming to take your extra value, but at this point in time, we cannot pay everybody at a go. If you had come in January or in February or in August or on August 4th, for your extra value, you would have been paid by now.
Just last week, you only paid 40 or 50 people. What's the guarantee that you can pay the hundreds of thousands who are waiting to be paid their dividends next week?
What is the guarantee that I can't pay? What is the guarantee that I can't pay? I said I have a schedule. I'm following a schedule. And I've told you. But
if there's no problem, why should you be following a schedule? You should just pay them straight away.
Okay, Araba, we are going back and forth with this. I've told you that. Every financial institution goes through challenges at a point in time. Today, as we speak, check all the banks.
I see. So is Mensgold a financial institution?
As far as we pay money, as far as we trade, what do you call it? It's not a financial institution, it's what? Although it's a good dealer firm.
All financial institutions in the country are regulated by the central bank. You say you're not regulated by the central bank.
Araba, what is a central bank issue? Is that we are collecting deposits. Manasseh, not Manasseh, Malik Dabu, last time was saying that he sent someone to go to do investigation whatsoever. Ask him whether, when the guy was doing the investigation, whether someone or he deposited money to any staff at Mensgold. No. So time again, we've told BOG that we don't take deposits. The only issue with BOG has to do with deposit taking. And we've told them that we don't. That's the only way we are not under BOG. Now, SEC has come in, right, and says that based on what we are traded in, we should be under them.
So Mensgold does not take deposit, but your sister company, Brew Marketing Consult, takes deposits.
They sell gold.
They sell gold?
Exactly.
I see.
But if you sell gold, we are licensed to sell gold. Have you looked at our agreement, our contract? We are able to, Brew Marketing is our agent, so they sell gold to our customers.
Clarify this for me. Which of the entities are licensed to sell gold? Is it Brew Marketing Consult, or Mensgold Operations?
Brew Marketing sells the gold. You can bring your gold to Mensgold. We trade with your gold. As simple as that. We don't trade with it, we trade with your gold. You bring your gold to us and we trade with it. When we
so Brew Marketing has a license to trade in gold?
Check our agreement.
No, I'm asking the question.
Contract. You need to check the contract.
We will check it, but answer the question now as to whether Brew Marketing has a license to trade in gold.
What do you think?
The question is being put to you. We've been told that Mensgold is the one that's dealing in gold trading.
Yes.
So what exactly is Brew Marketing Consult licensed to do?
Brew Market is our agent. We set up Brew Market as an agent to sell gold to customers.
So when you want to... Are they licensed to sell gold?
Yes.
They are licensed to sell gold?
Yes.
Okay. We're also hearing reports that some of your customers are going to be migrated onto the UK platform. How true is that?
Well, that policy, we're still considering it. We have not fully rolled it up, but when it is due, we will let you know what it entails. But for now, we haven't rolled it up yet.
But quickly, do you have a license to operate in the UK?
Well, we are in the UK, right? We have a branch in the UK, isn't it?
It's a very simple question.
No, I'm saying that we have a branch in the UK.
That's not in doubt.
Okay, so the fact that we have a branch in the UK, what does it tell you?
You can have an office without necessarily having a license to operate.
It does. Really? Check with the UK whether you can set up an office without a license. Kindly check. It will help all of us.
Okay, so we do have an official of Mensgold on record saying that they don't do that business in the UK.
Exactly. What business?
The business of gold trading. They don't take deposits.
How can they take deposits?
So what exactly does the UK business do?
The UK is a branch. We didn't say it's the head office. The head office is in Ghana. So whatever transactions UK people engages in, they bring everything back to Accra. Accra is the head office. This is the man who believes in Ghana. So when he was setting up his businesses, he decided to make the one in Ghana as the head office. Do you mean what that one is?
That's
great.
Quite clear.
So why if you say we don't deal in gold,
why are you considering migrating people onto the UK platform?
But is it wrong to migrate people into the global platform? Are we not moving to the global world? Are we not?
You don't trade there? If you don't trade there, why are you migrating people there?
No, I'm saying that if we have customers in UK, we have customers in Madrid, We have customers in Nigeria. We have customers in Ghana. Isn't it sagacious to migrate all of them into a global platform so they can all trade on one platform and they can receive their payment? Don't you think it's quite innovative?
We're also hearing reports that your Director of Public Communication or Director of Communications,
my boss.
Yes, your boss,
yes,
has resigned, and people are reading meanings into it.
Yeah.
Why has he resigned?
Well, first of all, that has not come to my attention yet. I've also seen it.
Has your attention been drawn to the media reports?
Yes, I've seen it.
Okay. Have you spoken to him?
I haven't, because I've been busy today. I've been doing a lot of media interviews. I've been engaging a lot of stakeholders.
I see. So why are you engaging the media? Why isn't he the one engaging the media?
Well, he has other things to do. I don't know. You understand? I don't know, because as far as I'm concerned, we are not working today.
He's been very vocal on this issue since the issue started.
Have you spoken to him?
I haven't spoken to him. We haven't been able to reach him.
He's a friend. You should have called him.
No, we haven't been able to reach him.
That's very unfair.
No.
Because as a friend, by now you should have called him to ask him what's happening.
Me?
Yes.
I'm the one asking the questions.
I know. But as a friend, I'm expecting that you should call and say, George, I heard you've resigned. Is it true?
Did he commission you to come and speak on behalf of Mensgold?
No, I'm a deputy communication director.
So you need his direction, obviously. Yes. So did he direct you to come?
I'm a deputy communication director of the company. Mm-hmm. I'm entitled to speak on issues if I have the facts, and that's why I'm here.
So you weren't directed by George to come and speak to the issue?
I am the deputy communication director of the company. Mm-hmm. So if I have the facts and you call me, I will speak to it.
Meanwhile, the police say they have deployed officers at the various branches of Mensgold following reports of attacks on workers there. East Legon District Commander Superintendent Sevasatha tells Joy News they will continue to maintain a presence until the situation normalizes.
Yes, there has been some official notification, but even before the official notification, we had picked intelligence that there was the need for us to be present within their premises after the SEC, Security and Exchange Commission, asked Mensgold to suspend their activities. Then we knew that there was a need for the police to go into action and deploy within the premises of Mensgold to forestall any eventuality. So yes, whilst we of our own accord decided to go to their aid, they also notified us about the need for us to be there as they felt threatened.
In their notice to you, we want to find out from you what really was the complaint about.
There wasn't a complaint as such. There was a concern raised that there was a likelihood of some of their clients being rowdy. That is the concern that they expressed. We are in constant contact with the management. I just spoke with Pius, the manager of the East Legon branch, and like he's been telling us all the time, they have put their clients on schedule as to which number of people can come for their interest or dividend or money. And so each time we are also there to ensure that whatever schedule that they have put in place goes on smoothly without any disruption. So we are going to be there for as long as it will take the situation to calm down, and for as long as our absence there will not occasion any disturbances.
So from the intelligence you have gathered, it looks the case things are still calm?
We have an uneasy calm. We have an uneasy calm. That is why we are going to continue to be there, to continue to manage the situation together with the management of the company. Now we are doing everything in collaboration with them. And so, for as long as we need to be there, we are going to be there to ensure that everything is brought down to normalcy.
This is Joy News Prime with me, Araba Kumsin. There's more news ahead, but right after the break is business with Emmanuel Abuaje-Riafe.
Hello, good evening to you and welcome to Business. Now, government has reached out to a Singaporean architect and planner, Dr. Liu Tai Ke, to help redevelop Accra into a modern city as part of its transformation agenda. After receiving Dr. Liu in the country on Friday, Senior Minister Yao Osafo-Maafo tells Joy Business Ghana may sign an agreement with the planner soon for work to begin by next year. Ebenezer Sabuti has more in this report.
In February this year, officials from the Ministry of Finance met with Singaporean architect Dr. Liu Tai Ke for plans to redevelop the capital city Accra. After the deliberation, both parties expressed interest in working together for the reshaping of a modern city. According to Senior Minister Yao Osafo-Maafo, the development will be based on infrastructure availability. He said congestion in the city has contributed to the slow growth of the economy.
When you have physical planning, it reduces the cost of even doing business in the city. Now, the type of traffic jam we have in Accra, sometimes we are worried about the time it takes. But what should be worrying to most of you is the foreign exchange we lose through crude oil use. If it's going to take you 1 hour to get to a place you can do in 10 minutes, you are burning fuel how many times more? 10 minutes and 60 minutes. Isn't it? So it's important to make sure that the city operates efficiently. And it does because there is this special planning.
Singaporean architect Dr. Liu Tai Ke said a well-planned city has great benefits.
The most important planning job for Ghana should be to plan your capital city, Accra. And so that's why that's intention of my coming here, to understand Accra. But in the last 2 days, after listening to many ministers, deputy ministers, and so on, I think I'm persuaded by them that we should not plan just Accra. We should plan Accra and the immediate surrounding township in order to slow down the rural-urban migration. Because if you plan only Accra and make Accra so attractive and the surrounding township not improving its condition, then there'll be a bigger rush to come to Accra. That's not necessarily good for everybody. So the likelihood is that I may be planning Accra plus the immediate surrounding township.
Dr. Liu is expected to have a meeting with the Accra Metropolitan Assembly and some local authorities, after which an agreement will be signed with government.
President of U.S.-Ghana Chamber of Commerce, Florence Thorson Hart, is touting the significant economic strength of women in national development. She notes that women will in a few years to come wield substantial wealth and make decisions to propel the new economic reality. Florence Thorson Hart, who also leads a wealth management team at international investment firm in the U.S., Merrill Lynch, was sharing her thoughts at a networking session ahead of the maiden Global Women's Professional and Business Exchange Conference, which comes off in Accra on Saturday, October 6.
Now everybody talks about helping women, and I think that there comes a time when women have to get together and help ourselves. And so the conference is designed to put women in the same room. Let's talk about moving our business together. So the slogan of the conference is moving forward together. And we are a powerful economic force now and growing. In another couple of years, we are going to be control so much wealth and make a lot of decisions, financial decisions. And so I think that we have to come together and get ahead of what is coming, right? And make sure that we are prepared and are able to maximize this new economic reality that women are going to have to contend with. One of the things that we are going to talk about at the conference is how to tap into the opportunities that are available in the informal sector. A lot of women work in the informal sector too, and there are lots of business opportunities that are available there that doesn't get talked about a lot. And so one of the things we're doing is to identify, discuss, and make sure that people look at the formal sector investments and the informal sector investments too. We also want to make sure that we have to get to the point where we are sort of like talking to each other. Why is it that if I am an executive in a company, do I feel a responsibility to make sure that I at least groom another female, accomplished female, to do what I do and maybe take it to the next level? If you are not doing that, why not? So these are things that we need to talk about. We all want to do great things. For whatever reason, what we want and what the reality is not necessarily the same.
All right, so Head of Business Programming here at Multimedia, Emma Morrison, will also be speaking at the conference tomorrow. Now, Agric Minister Dr. Owusu-Efik-Yakoto says government will in the coming days be embarking on a program to grow and export coffee as a commercial crop. Government says it has committed 50 million cedis towards this project. This was made known at the Ghana Coffee Conference here in Accra, which saw stakeholders within the coffee value chain deliberate on ways of making Ghana a leading producer of coffee in the world.
The maiden edition of the Coffee Conference has been described as timely, especially when Ghana is documented to be losing billions of dollars for not investing in this enterprise. According to the Greek minister, government has pooled the needed resources to begin large-scale cultivation of coffee under the Planting for Export and Rural Development project.
Côte d'Ivoire, which is next door to us, is doing at its peak 350,000 metric tons of coffee. I used to come to Côte d'Ivoire in the 70s and 80s when I worked with the International Coffee Organization, because it was a major, and it's still a major producer of coffee. And Ghana cannot even account for 10,000. And I don't even think 5,000 tons. So it shows you the kind of potential this country has. So the effort of the government in trying to develop the coffee industry is coinciding with the effort of the organizers of today's conference, to put coffee on the map.
President of the Coffee Federation of Ghana, Chief Nat Ebo Nsako, expressed confidence in the project. He says global investors are already on standby to cash into the new coffee enterprise by government.
It is sad to know that in the face of Ghana's great potential to rank as one of the world's leading producers due to factors I just mentioned above, coffee's share of Ghana's GDP stood at a paltry 0.12 in 2015. It is sad also that Ghanaian youth remain unemployed in the face of the great potential coffee provides. It is equally sad that the economy of Ghana continues to overly depend on Ghana's age-old cash crop cocoa, when coffee could boost the economy just as much as cocoa has done over the years. Currently, farmers are lamenting that many of their cocoa trees are over 60 years, with some being as old as 100 years. Cocoa has made amazing contributions to Ghana's economy, no doubt about that. It is time we make effort to add other cash crops to support the exploit of cocoa in putting Ghana on the international agro map again.
The commodity, apart from having the potential to rake in more revenue to shore up the $2 billion cocoa generates annually, could also create more than 500,000 jobs in the Ghanaian economy. Industry experts say the commodity, especially the Robusta coffee, which could perform faster in Ghana due to its adaptability to various temperatures, and could be one of Ghana's export commodities apart from cocoa.
And that's business on Joy News Prime. Many thanks for watching. My name is Emmanuel Abuaji Riafi. Have a great weekend.
You're welcome back. Now, city authorities in Kumasi are mounting a special operation to retrieve debts in fees and tolls from defaulting businesses and other taxpayers. The Metropolitan Assembly says its internally generated funds are dwindling because traders are reluctant to fulfill their financial obligation, despite low fees charged by the Assembly. It comes after some traders and commercial drivers complained about poor sanitation and other services. They threatened to stop paying money to the KMA and rather hire private individuals to clean the market. Anaya Ojima has been speaking with two parties and filed this report.
Last week, traders and drivers at the racecourse market threatened not to pay market tolls because they see little improvement in conditions at the market.
We do apologize for the poor quality of sound. But moving on, our government is to deploy 540 mine guards across the country as part of measures to combat illegal mining in the country, popularly known as Galamsey. As part of the move, 220 mine guards passed out at the Ghana Police Academy in Tesano after extensive training as the first batch of recruits. The Minister of Lands and Natural Resources, Kweku Asomatreme, says this is part of the processes towards lifting the ban on Galamsey. Kingsley Oshu
The ban on small-scale mining, and government says it is taking steps to get it lifted. From vetting of licenses to the installation of tracking devices on excavators, the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, Kweku Asomatreme, says training of 220 mining guards form part of the roadmap to lifting the ban.
We are now left with another number of 320 to be trained. They will be given the opportunity to go onto the field, as I stated, coming up with their functions. But when the 320 goes through the training and they are out, then these people will join them and the president commissions them for them to take off. I'm saying that very soon it will be lifted. Soon can mean the next minute ahead of us, or it could be 2 days or 1 week or 3 months.
According to the minister, these mine guards will be resourced to monitor water bodies, among others.
They will work with and report to the Minerals Commission district officers within their area of work and will be resourced with the needed equipment and gadgets to function effectively to deliver on the assignment to be prescribed. The functions of the mine guards are mainly to monitor activities on and around water bodies in mining areas, report all forms of illegal mining activities to their respective district office, be the focal person on mining of all forms, small-scale gold mining, sand, quarry, gravel, and stone mining, among other industrial mineral operations in the satellite areas. Above all, they are to foster peace and prosperity in the various mining communities in which they will work.
Some of the mine guards who went through the training spoke to Joy News on their preparedness for the task ahead.
We take all the challenges into consideration, but as a guard or as a security, you have to be firm and courageous to do all things and abide by the rules and regulations. So we are not afraid the consequences or the challenges.
Very fit, because we were taught very well to be able to avoid certain gifts. Because gifts, after all, when someone gives you something, the person would by all means expect something from you. So as a guard, you should stand firm on your own feet and also know very well that when you take something, someone will also expect something. So you shouldn't take anything at all from anybody. Be vigilant and do your work very well.
Kingsley Otu's report for Joy News.
The District Chief Executive for Bia East in the Western Region has commended the Forestry Commission's joint operation with the military to clamp down on illegal logging in forest reserves. Richard Chebure observes illegal chainsaw operators and sawmills located in reserves deplete forest resources and deny the assembly revenue for development. The anti-logging operation, codenamed Operation Halt, is in its third week. Ohimin Tibia reports.
Bia East is one of the deprived districts in Ghana. The assembly depends largely on District Assembly Common Fund and forest royalties for survival. It received 78,000 Ghana cedis as its share of royalties for the second quarter of this year alone. Part of the money is being used to build ICT center for Adabokrum and also provide potable water for some communities. Mr. Chiburi has been participating in operations to seize thousands of illegally sawn lumber. He says chainsaw operators and other encroachers who come mostly from outside the region are liabilities to the assembly.
There are
no well-established companies in this area. We rely solely on royalties from the forest. We received royalties no long ago. Now we are using the money to provide ICT and potable water. We cannot allow few people to destroy the forest for their parochial interests. How many people own sawmill here? Only 6 of them. We seized over 13 truckload of lumber from just one sawmill. If 100 chainsaw operators cut 100 trees a day, 1,000 will be destroyed in 10 years. They will destroy 3,000 trees in a month. I bet you there won't be any forest in 4 years. We cannot allow them to continue to destroy the forest. Forest reserves under siege by chainsaw operators and sawmills in Kumasi, Krokosua, Tanosushen, and Moro. From Adapokrum in the Western region for Joy News, Ohimenteria reports.
Now, the Ghanaian pilot who made history by flying the world's biggest passenger aircraft to Accra this week is urging government to invest more in the country's aviation industry to help the country produce more local pilots. According to the Emirates airline pilot, the high cost of educating and training pilots has contributed to the low number of Ghanaian pilots. Captain Solomon Kwenu wants government to invest in people in order to tap their full potential. He spoke to journalists during a visit to his alma mater, Koforidua Senior High Technical School, to interact with teachers and students. Correspondent Kofi Siao reports.
The Emirates Airlines pilot has operated different types of aircraft before gaining command to handle Airbus A380. He graduated from Koforidua Sectec in 1986 before proceeding to the University of Ghana. Captain Kwenu's career as a pilot spans about 14 years. Half of it has been with Emirates Airlines. After touching down at the Kotoka International Airport, he made history as the first Ghanaian to pilot the biggest passenger aircraft to his home country. Some old students of Koforidua Sectec, popularly known as Merimama, joined the younger ones to honor the captain for his bravery and dexterity. Captain Kwenu presented a miniature aircraft of Emirates Airline to the school and reminded the students to know why they are in school.
So please make your time here very, very fruitful. You may not come from the richest family. I did not come from a rich family at all. I came from a very poor family. But with determination, with belief, and hard work, and with the support from my teachers, my friends, and colleagues, I was able to get to where I always wanted to be. When I was in school, I used to dress up like a pilot, always wearing my gloves and pretending to be a pilot. And I'm so happy I've been able to do it.
Captain Kwenu also inspected construction work on an ultra-modern assembly hall being funded by PAR students. Speaking to journalists, he underscored the importance of human resource development to national progress.
Challenges mainly financial, because flying costs a lot of money, and currently you have to pay about about close to £150,000 to gain just the basic flying air transport pilot license. You can get private pilot license, that is not too expensive, but to be able to fly as a passenger pilot, you need a lot of money. So finances is the main thing to get that. And also because in our country, aviation has not been really developed. It's not because we don't have the technical know-how. We have great guys who can do a lot of things.
President of the Old Student Association, Berimaba Skofri Nanaya Oyabua, appealed to government to make the school model for science and technology.
We want to use this to appeal to government. This is a passionate appeal.
SecTech is one of the schools that was set up with a mission to raise science and technological bias product for KNUST. That is all that SecTech is about. And here, that's why we are called a Merimamba. It's more or less like a combination of military academy and MIT. You are taught, you are disciplined, you are raised to go out there to become the best. So this is a passionate appeal. Government should at least use SecTech as a model where if you want to become an outstanding scientist, outstanding technologist, it should be SecTech.
Now, T.I. Ahmadiyya Senior High School has eliminated St. Louis Senior High School to book a place in the semi-finals of the ongoing Love FM High School debate. Well, the score was 229 points to 216. All-female St. Louis, led by Cleopatra Azantilo, couldn't match the oratory arsenal of arguably the best presenter at the competition, Asakia Hawa Hanan of T.I. Amas. The motion was, "Our prisons are reformative enough." Chrissy Deborah reports.
The ladies from St. Louis, as usual, armed with a pile of newspapers, backed their arguments to the attention of judges.
All over the world, the traditional idea of punishment is being shifted from the retributive motive to the reformative motive, especially in Ghana. This is factual because this forms the very framework and aims of the Ghana Prison Service. The mission statement of the Ghana Prison Service states, and I quote, "We are committed to undertake the state custody, humane treatment, reformation, rehabilitation, and reintegration of inmates to make them feel responsible, productive, and law-abiding to ensure public safety," unquote. The Chair, if this is the mandate of the Ghana Prison Service, why is it lost on us that the mandate of the prisons is to reform our individuals?
Mr. Chairman, punishment meted out to prisoners serve as a form of reformation and not a form of retribution, and this is done out of love. According to Abundance Robert K. Awologotu, Correction Officer of the Ghana Prison Service, he said, and I quote, "We are fair and firm and discipline them with love when they break prison rules," unquote.
Not only lack basic drugs and equipment, but they require vehicles to convey respect.
However, audio-visual evidence submitted by T.I. Amas proved decisive.
Our prisons rather breed homosexuals. I guess this is what my opponents call reformation. The Chair, every normal adolescent or adult has natural sexual needs. Yes, my opponents, you heard me, sexual needs. Sex, the Chair, is identified by Abraham Maslow as a basic need, just like food, shelter, and the like. Thus, keeping fully grown adults in confinement for several years and denying them these basic needs leaves them with no other alternative but to find another way to satisfy this need.
So, join them as
Earlier in a battle of sexes, Upukwar School triumphed over Yasantua to pick the first semi-final ticket with a score of 150 points to 144. The bone of contention was whether or not churches must pay.
All not-for-profit organizations do not generate profits and hence do not qualify to be taxed. Since taxes can only be imposed on a company's net profit. Secondly, churches must not be taxed because it is against the constitution of the land.
At times, when I turn on my television set and I see pastors who are meant to preach humanity now turn into brothers.
Tax. On Monday, Tapasina High and KNUST Senior High will meet to decide who advances to the next stage in the third quarter-final duel. Reporting for Joy News, Kwesi Debra.
Now, Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia has reiterated government's commitment to improving the welfare of teachers as they believe the profession is relevant for the improvement in the country's human resource. His comments come on the back of oaths by the National Association of Graduate Teachers for the improvement in the conditions of service for teachers across the country. Dr. Bawumia, however, used the occasion to announce a rebranding of the National Teachers Award, which has been changed to Ghana Teacher Prize. He was speaking on the theme for this year's World Teachers Day, "The right to education means the right to a qualified teacher."
Speaking at the commemoration of the World Teachers' Day at the Presbyterian Boys Senior High School, Legon in Accra, Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Baumia announced government had cleared the salary arrears of 70,000 teachers since assuming office out of the 100,000 that was there. He also reiterated the government was committed to increasing the training standards of teachers, which is why the government is upgrading the colleges of education to university colleges.
You touched, I think Nat touched on arrears and promotion arrears for our teachers. It is something that we are very, very committed to eliminating. I just want to point out that when we assumed office some 20 months ago, the arrears were owed to over 100,000 teachers. As we speak today, we have reduced that through the validation process to just 30,000 teachers. So we are on course. Government is undertaking wide reforms to equip our teachers with the necessary tools to ensure that they are able to deliver quality learning outcomes in our schools. Our mantra in education has and remains teacher first. An important component of this is the upgrading of all our colleges of education to university colleges.
Meanwhile, a teacher of the Bishop Herman College, Mr. Gbose, was adjudged this year's National Best Teacher Award scheme, which has been renamed and rebranded as the Ghana Teacher Prize. He is expected to receive a 3-bedroom house and a 5,000 Ghana Cedis endowment fund as part of his prize.
So rural and community banks have assured the banking public they will meet the minimum capital requirement of 1 million Ghana cedis by December 2018. That's the deadline for it. Well, the Bank of Ghana had earlier indicated the 1 million capital requirement is a sure way of ensuring that banks are stronger. Managing Director of the ARB Apex Bank, Kojo Mata, gave the assurance during the 17th National Managers Conference. There's more in the following report.
The 17th National Managers Conference, under the theme Rendering Service with Passion, a panacea for competitive advantage, brought together managers of rural and community banks from across the country. Speaking to Joy News on the sidelines of the conference, Managing Director of the ARB Apex Bank, Kojo Mata, said some of the rural banks have already exceeded the new minimum capital requirements, and all of them will meet the December deadline.
As we speak, many of the rural and community banks have met the capital requirement. There are some who are yet to meet the requirements. However, the governor has assured the rural banking community that he will be flexible with the rural banks. And so far, he has been flexible with the rural banks.
Kojo Mata also waded into the recent fallout of the collapse of some indigenous banks and the stress on those struggling to survive in the wake of the panic withdrawals. He called on the banking public to have confidence in the financial sector.
I will encourage everybody to have confidence in the system we have. There may be challenges here and there. However, if there is a rush on the financial institutions, the whole system will collapse. No bank can withstand panic withdrawal, rush on the bank. So I will encourage all our citizens to exercise restraint and believe in what the central bank is doing to sanitize the system.
He also called on government to review the corporate tax regime for rural banks, which has been increased from 8% to 25% from 2016.
We find this increase to be excessive, and we have made several appeals to the Ministry of Finance and the powers that be to take a second look at it. We know the government needs taxes to develop the country, and we are willing to pay taxes. However, we think if the tax is reduced for the rural and community banks, the difference could be used in the communities in which they operate to meet some other social obligations.
Mauli Yevu Agdi's report.
Now, it was a triple celebrity affair on the Hot Balloon Friday as musician Edem, actress Sally Gali and radio host Andy Dusty together took a 1-hour ride above the Aviation plains. The three are the latest to conquer the hot air balloon flight as part of the Cowbell in the Sky project. Komladum, as usual, brings you a wrap of events.
When music meets a cozy balloon flight, there can be only one result. Fun, fun, fun. Musician Edem, actress Sally Gali and radio host Andy Dusty were in for the adventure, but Andy did not hide his fright. It's time to get aboard the hot air balloon.
You know what? Even though I said I wasn't afraid, Edem just brought it out.
Mama.
Let's go.
Now play, Mama.
After flying the longest and farthest since the balloon flight started, the team landed at Panchedo, near Adan. They shared their experiences with Joy News.
It's been a great experience. I wish we would still be doing more. It's been
a great experience. We also discovered a new land in Ghana, so it's available for sale. It's somewhere. This land, nobody knows this land.
Owns it.
No, but it's been an amazing flight. We flew the highest height, so that is definitely a record.
Everybody should do something as crazy and very adventurous as this, you know, especially this one. And I mean, it's beautiful.
These residents literally chased the balloon until they saw it land, describing it as a spectacle to cherish forever. At the Accra Girls Senior High School, the demonstration session for the girls was brief.
So I wish all the things we learn in class will be as practical as this one, because it will help us gain more knowledge, and it's very nice. It's a nice experience too. So I think all the things we learn should be made practical.
Okay. I agree with what she said, because it's like most of us don't like the science. So maybe when it's made practical, we'll have a love and interest for it to go deeper into it. So
Headmistress of the school, Joyce Akolache, agrees more of these are required to demystify the complex theories in science.
You know, we've done this in the classroom. We've talked about it theoretically, but today we are seeing it practically. And I'm saying that's a very good thing, because trust me, these children will never forget the principle. Once they're in the classroom, they can always imagine this field and what they saw. And I must say that that is what we want science, how science should be taught. It must be full of practicality.
And from the rest of the team, thank you for joining us throughout this week. Join us again, same time next week. I'm Marble Crimson. Have a lovely weekend.
This is Joy News Prime.